Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome to a very special extra interview of Final Cut today. I'm joined by a successful businessman, so, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present to you Isaac Camacho.
Hey everyone, hey, thanks for having me. Really great to be with you.
And thank you very much for coming on. So, first question inevitably is, how are you?
You know what? I'm doing great. I'm in sunny Southern California. Don't mean to rub it in, but I'm enjoying the sun over here.
Yeah, everyone in England is probably hearing this and thinking, yeah, I bet he is. Now, you're a marketing, and if I've read this right, you are the marketing and sales director at Accurate Termite and Pest Control. When did you first join the company?
I first joined the company right about 10 years ago in 2010.
What's the history behind the actual company of itself?
So the company is owned and operated by a beautiful Irish family, a couple named Jim and Leslie Donnelly, and they bought it. Jim was a successful engineer from Ireland, from the Dublin area, who his career made him come down here to California. There was a point where he was told, hey, you're either going to have to go to China or Texas. And he didn't want to leave California, so he opted instead to retire from that career and purchase a business. And he bought a very small termite company called Accurate. And he did that right around 15 years ago. And then we met later after I finished college. Just really enjoyed working together on a quick marketing and sales project, and eventually ended up deciding that we wanted to work together. So I've been part of the family for about 10 years now.
So obviously everyone listening, can you just tell them a bit more about the company, like what actually goes on and what role you play in it?
Yeah, absolutely. We're a residential pest control company. So for the most part, we're coming to people's homes either on a monthly or every other month basis, and we apply products to get rid of ants, spiders. We also do rodent control, things like that. We have a lot of homeowner association clients, HOAs as they're commonly known. My role in the company is to keep the phones ringing. As the marketing director, I'm in charge of making sure that we grow. But a little bit more than that, I take it very personal to make sure that we grow responsibly, sustainably for the environment. What we apply, what we do can have a great impact on the environment and keeping bugs away and diseases from spreading from people to humans, because now everyone knows what happens if no one does that.
Yeah.
But we need to do it, and I really take it to heart that we have to do it responsibly. We have to find that middle balance. That's my role pretty much in a nutshell.
Okay, then how much work and research goes into what you actually do?
There is a lot of work and research, partly because there's a lot of regulations in California specifically for pest control. Perhaps people have heard overseas, but I know in the U.S. people have heard of the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. That's the federal agency that is supposed to protect the environment, right? But California has their own EPA, so we kind of have two moms and two dads looking over the environment. So there's lots of regulation, which means that those agencies require that anytime we do anything or we make a drastic change to an environmental service, there has to be good science behind it.
Yeah.
So we're lucky. We do have very renowned entomology departments surrounding us in the University of California systems. But it does take quite a bit of research to make sure we do this correctly.
Yeah. Just for the ladies and gentlemen listening, what training have you actually got for sales and marketing?
Well, my training has been mostly informal. When I was in college, when I was in school, I did door-to-door sales and ended up selling as a contractor for Accurate.
Yeah.
I started a proselyting mission for my church, so 2 years door-to-door knocking. So most of my training has truly been informal, but I did take some psychology and communication courses in school while I was in college, and I do try my best to keep up on good Audible books that are on the subject.
A man who keeps training no matter what. I like it.
All right, it's essential.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's essential.
So I'm assuming the journey from starting out to where you actually are now wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't, but I can't say that it was particularly hard. Everything requires hard work, right? We're going to work hard at something, whether it's something we love or something we're imposed with. So as long as you enjoy what you're doing, which I particularly do, I love working with the Donnellys. I love the environment I'm in and the people that I work with, the relationships I've made. So yes, I do work hard, but it doesn't feel like a drag. It's definitely not something that people wake up and they're just not looking forward to it. It's not quite that way for me. I do enjoy doing this kind of work.
That's actually nice and refreshing to say, because more than likely, as soon as you hear someone and they're like, oh yeah, I don't like my job. Yeah, I don't like it at all. But it is actually nice and refreshing to hear that someone actually enjoys the job that they're actually in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to enjoy what you're doing. Otherwise, why put so much effort into it? And I'm the kind of person that I'm going to put effort into whatever I do. So I'm lucky that I really like the environment and the people that I work with.
All right, then. Let's go outside of Isaac Camacho, the businessman. Let's talk Isaac Camacho, the man when he's not at work. So what are your hobbies and interests? What do you like to do outside of work?
My number one is spending time with family. I have 3 kids. The oldest is 10, then 6, then 4. Spending time with my wife, who is my best friend, and my kids. That's number one. If we can do something together, that's where I will almost always default to. My personal hobbies, I like to do Spartan competitions. And that's pretty much like a mud run with obstacles in it. Yeah. It's not to say that I'm good at them, but I like the challenge. It's something for me to look forward to. And church keeps me pretty busy. I volunteer in church quite a bit. So between those 3 things, my family and just trying to stay fit and my church callings, that's pretty much what takes up my time outside of work.
Okay. Well, since this is usually a movie podcast, I must ask a question. So, name me 5 of your favourite movies.
Let me see. I'd have to say Life of Pi is up there. Beautiful cinematography, and that story is beautiful, right? Life of Pi. Bringing Out the Dead. That's not very well known. It's with Nicolas Cage. He's a paramedic in New York City. I haven't seen that in a long time.
I have heard of that, actually.
It's a good one. That movie really made me fall in love with New York and wanting to see New York. Then there's a movie called Awakenings. Oh, that everyone should see Awakenings. That's Robin Williams. Who's a doctor in a hospital where there are a good number of patients who are catatonic.
Yeah.
Meaning they're alive, but there's no response from them.
I have actually heard of that. Yeah, I've heard of that.
It's a beautiful movie. Those are my top 3, I'd say.
That's fair enough. And so, what would you say are your career highlights thus far?
I've had a few. When I started working for the company, we were small, a few customers. We're now one of the top 100 in the U.S., and we're in the top 10 in California. Over the period of 10 years, I'm pretty proud of the fact that our team has been able to do that. Recently, during the COVID crisis, we took on the lead of going to our state governor, and saying, hey, look, we have the training, the equipment to do large-scale community-wide coronavirus disinfections. And when I say we, I mean the collective industry we, not just us at Accurate. but we have been for many years performing coronavirus disinfections for decades because rodents have been carrying the virus for a long time. But 2 years ago, if I told you, hey, my services include coronavirus disinfection, it wouldn't mean anything, right? But now that the pandemic is here and we've been doing it, we have the product and the training, then we went to the governor and said, hey, we need to be kind of let loose, we the industry, let us go out there. And eventually the governor agreed that we were the ones who could do it the best and most responsibly and without being a drain on the PPE that health professionals use. So I'm really proud of that. We got that passed. It's a temporary allowance for us to step a little bit outside of pest control and to do these large-scale disinfections because we do have quite a bit of nursing homes, senior care facilities who credit these disinfections that different pest control companies are out there doing as being able to stop the spread of the virus.
Yeah. So what would you like the future to hold for you, both on a personal and a professional level?
You know, I'd love to see our team at Accurate grow. We attract good people. I'd love to see our team continue to grow. I'd love to see that the team, when they come into Accurate, that they also grow themselves, that there's always an opportunity for them to learn something new and do something different. So I'd love to see growth in the team. Of course, for myself, I'd love to know that I'm going to continue to be there for my family as well, and enjoying those good movies that I mentioned previously.
Mm-hmm. So, final question. I did a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I was recently asked a question in Q&A, which was, how do you want to be remembered? So as in, how do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered as a good employer, as someone who's down to earth, someone who was there for everyone, kind of stuff like that?
Yeah, that's profound, right? I think that if my wife says that I was a good husband and father, that's it for me. That's how I want to be remembered.
That's high praise indeed. That's all you really need, really, isn't it?
That's all you need. That's it. That's what it's all about.
So, if people want to find you on social media, how would they go about it?
We do have a Facebook page. We are on Facebook. If you search Accurate Termite and Pest Control, we're the location in Irvine. There are other Accurate sort of variations out there, but we're Accurate Termite and Pest Control. We're most active on Facebook. We do have an Instagram account, and we have a YouTube channel. That YouTube channel we use quite a bit to push out good information on how to search for and hire a good pest control provider.
Is there any tips on the YouTube page?
Yeah, most of the YouTube page we've dedicated to giving homeowners tips. Mm-hmm. There's misconceptions about what works, what doesn't. Also, good warnings. Sometimes there are products that are marketed as being particularly safe, and they end up not being safe. So I go ahead and I review those. I read the labels and kind of deconstruct all the scientific lingo into layman's terms so people kind of understand what they're getting into.
Yeah, that's fair enough then. So, ladies and gentlemen, on those very important tips, successful businessman, Isaac Camacho.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Thank you very much for coming on.